Somatic learning, to me, is accessing the wisdom and the knowledge that exists within your body and accessing it through your body.
Somatics means body, and simply is bringing your whole being into the learning process, making connections with what you know, what you think you know. It's definitely a different way of knowing.
So somatics is that whole encompassing view and perspective of how you envision yourself within the world and how that interplay can change things and change the way you perceive the world around you.
What is somatics? It's difficult to explain because it encompasses so many different aspects of the self, not only the thinking self, the cognitive self, but also the spiritual self as well as the body. And it's really aligning all of these parts of yourself to be authentic, to be an authentic leader, to be an authentic person.
I feel like somatic learning is embodiment, honestly. And somatic learning it's a really great course that helps you to walk through the physical movements and motions and different practices and find ways to incorporate those into who you are as an individual and what you do and how you interact in your environment.
Another thing about somatics that is very interesting is that through the body, it's how we learn. We learn through the body. I mean, if you really think about it, what other experience do we have? But one that's grounded in our own physical being. Okay, that's essential to learning.
So in this course, we really explored some specific physical practices that had to do with getting very centered and very present within our body and becoming aware of sensation, in particular, what sensations we were feeling, and what meaning we tended to make of those sensations. And sometimes we automatically defaulted to certain assumptions about how we were feeling in our emotional state or our moods based on those sensations. And it was interesting to look at that and break that down a little bit.
Right, it's not like we have a vast vocabulary to talk about certain things, and the vocabulary to define somatics perhaps just isn't there yet. But the experience, and what I can tell you is that I am not the same person that I was when I started the class. And it was through the different practices that we did in the class. It was a combination of the somatic practices, the practices of postures, different postures in the class, along with the research and the reading and the discussions and collaborative inquiry, working with others, making assumptions, making grounded assumptions. It's more than just using your body. It's more than just a yoga class. It's more than just sitting and meditating. There's so much more to it, because with somatics, not only do you become more present to be able to respond to situations, but it also helps to know yourself and to know your responses and how you respond to situations and how to shift your awareness when necessary and to adapt to situations, to be more expansive, to be more compassionate, to be more empathetic. it brings you to a place where you can be more empathetic to others.
We did a lot of looking at research, looking at theoretical data and information, but not only so, we also practiced centering and grounding ourselves and learning how to manage the way we perceived our environment. We worked a lot in groups and teams and kind of helping each other realize what it was that the posture that we were taking in the world and how we were presenting ourselves.
In the beginning of the course, I was very much always thinking in my head, and this course has brought me into not only just thinking about learning, but also about actually experiencing the learning on a bodily level. And these somatic practices that we do in the class begin to help make connections between who we are and what we do. It aligns our behaviors with our language, what we say. It's embodying a leadership presence through different postures, through different practices that we do in the class. Begin with types of mindfulness practices. We engage in centering practices, which help to bring an awareness to the body as well as to your thinking. It's really the engaging in the practice that makes the difference.
The class has been a really, really great opportunity that has allowed us to walk through a lot of collaborative inquiry with our peers, which has helped to further reinstill the information, and also just to apply some concepts and general knowledge about the topic, which has been very, very beneficial to our learning. In addition to that, we also walked through a lot of journaling and making sure that we were giving a lot of feedback to our peers in our group, which really helped.
So it's about accessing that wisdom, and I think using that information, some of the ways that we would use the information, or I found myself using the information, is to be more aware of what it is that I am experiencing in terms of physical sensation. What stories am I telling myself about that? How am I physically in my body? What choices or actions am I taking because of that? So having increased awareness, and then from that awareness, using that to make more conscious choices and more specific decisions about literally the shape that you want to take and how you want to others to experience you, or the impact that you want to have.
I have many more choices available to me as a result of engaging in, say, the centering practice. A centering practice which slows us down, and instead of reacting to situations, we choose more mindful responses that would be more appropriate in certain situations.
It's very fascinating, actually, just because I feel like quite often we tend, as scholars, we tend to be very head up. It's just always in our head, and all these ideas are flowing around us, and we're constantly moving, and everything's really quick, and we have to get assignments completed in a certain timely fashion. But being that, especially this is my first semester in a master's program, now I'm so used to in undergrad, it's like everything has a deadline, you have to do it quickly, and oh my gosh, I have to get it done, I'm stressed out, and I'm just walking through the motions and hoping it turns out well. Somatics really helped me to stop, take a step back, and focus, and take a step back and look at how my body was responding to all the stress, physical and mental stress. And now I feel like I'm a lot lighter. I feel a lot softer. I feel a lot more free-flowing and open to new possibilities, to new ways of thinking of things, to new ways of seeing things, which is remarkably different, very different, which is great.
The somatics, I would definitely recommend the somatics as a course to take for anybody, for any discipline. What I've gotten out of the process, what I've gotten out of the course is I feel like I can be more authentic, I can be more of a compassionate listener to others. I can approach things with a lot more choices.
Somatics has been a really, really great class for me just because it has helped me to become more aware of myself and how I interact in my environment along with others and just in general in the universe.
So there's lots of different applications that I'm discovering, and I'm sure that we're really just at the tip of the iceberg with all that this could be. But it's been a very rich experience for me, and one that I'm looking to continue.
And I must say that the journaling, again, was very helpful just because even outside of the classroom, it helped us to check and analyze and make sure that we were continuing to apply the things that we had discussed in the classroom and just making sure that we were more aware of our surroundings again.
I feel very confident that this type of learning can really create change in organizations, any type of an organization. In the class, we had different people from different backgrounds. We had a variety of professions, from banking to marketing to education to to psychology, and this type of learning can be applied to any of those professions. And when we engage the body and the mind together into learning and into acting and responding, then that's when we can really be our authentic selves.